So let's start a project for reading files, and this time we're not going to do writing, we're going to do reading files. I have another video for writing files, but this time we're just going to call this project file read. And what you do, we're going to notice and take note of the location. It's going to be stored on my D drive /sources/repos. I'm going to go next, and we're going to use .NET version 5 and C#. I'm going to create the project. Again, if you're using files, you have to use the system.io, which is input output, so that because it has the libraries that is needed for manipulating files. And inside main, we're just going to put you or start with a couple of things. There's more than one way to read files, and if you look at the internet and on the web, you're going to see many different ways. There is a stream reader, and basically SR, or that's what the reference is saying, a new stream reader, and you can specify the file that you want to read. So I'm going to specify the file over here. Basically, you can specify a stream. As you can see, there are 11 constructors that have been overloaded, but I can specify also the path. Let me just put a path over here and call the file test.txt, and that's it. And before I do anything, I just want to make sure that I close the file, because anything that you do with files, with file operations, you have to make sure that there are three things that you do. Is that first, and I wrote this in another video as well if you want to see it, if we open the file, and second, we either read or write file to the file, and the third, we have to make sure that we close the file. Just make sure you always have these. So we still did not read or write, we just opened it in reading mode. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to execute, and I usually execute by pressing Ctrl plus F5, but I'm going to do it from the menu right now. And over here it's saying file not found, so I have an exception because there is no file. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm just going to create a file. So I'm going to go to my D drive, to my sources, repos, and file read. So I just went to the directory on my other window, and inside over here I have to go to the bin because everything is executing in the bin. I'm just going to create a new text file, and I'm going to call it test.txt, and I'm just going to put a single, this is a single line, and that's it. I'm going to save, I'm going to close like this, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to execute, and now it works. So I'm just going to press, instead of hello world, I'm just going to put all done over here, not fun done. So let's see, and it's reading. How do I know it's reading? Well, I'm going to put a string. There is more than one way. str is equal to sr dot read line, or well, there is more than one thing. So read line over here. So if I do a read line, and I will do a console output for that line over there that I have, which is the str, what are you going to see is this is a single line. Now, a couple of things that you need to know. Basically, can I do this again? Can I basically read line twice? Okay, can I read, so I get the line over here, and I want to read another line. So if I try to do that, I'm not going to get anything because I already read a line. So if I try to do it multiple times and I execute, I'm not getting anything because the line that I'm reading is actually null. So if I go and debug over here, I'm going to press F5. If I go and debug, and this is what I'm going to do, what you're going to see that str is going to be equal for this is a single line. So if I want to execute this again, I'm just going to step over, and as you can see, there is no other line to read, because if you look at the test over here, we finish over here, there is nothing. Now, this is something that is common for people who program to forget about. So how do we ensure that we're only printing the number of the lines that we have? There's multiple ways to do it. Let me just take this off. And for example, while SR, while, I'm just going to keep the string, you know what guys, I'm just going to keep the string, while str is equal over here, I'm just going to put in quotations so that you know what I'm doing, sr.readLine. So what I'm doing over here, is I'm making sure that this is not equal to null. So I just want to make sure that this is not equal to null. Let me just take this guy off. And so is this going to be something appropriate? I can't do it this way. I have to put another quotation. And I have an error. No, it just been resolved. So while this part is not equal to null, all I need to do is basically console.writeLine that sr. So if there is more than one single line over here, I'm just gonna output that line. So let me just edit over here. This is another example, and save and exit, and let me test over here, and let's see if that's going to happen. Yep, we're going to get that. Now remember, everything is going to be read as a string. So if you're reading numbers, you have to convert these numbers. You have to do some checks. We're not doing any checking over here. We're just bringing an example. Now, is there other ways to do what I'm doing? Yeah, there are a lot of ways to do this. Another way, so to read a file and read everything and store it somewhere is basically using the file class. The file class, and I'm going to show you over here, the file class filed, which is this class over here, and I'm just going to press F1 once on it. If you press F1, it's going to open your favorite web browser and show you the help or the API help from MSDN or Microsoft Help, and it shows you all of the methods. One of the methods that I'm going to use is that this thing, which is read all text, and I want to show you what it does. First of all, it returns a string over here, and that string is basically all the text in a file. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to do a string str equal file dot read all texts, and this text is going to be test without the args, test.txt, and that's it. And you know what, I'm not going to write, there's not going to be a while loop because everything is going to be stored into one variable, which is str. So if I execute, you're going to see this, but you're going to, this is just to let you know guys, this is a single value stored in one variable. In that variable, you're going to see a string with line breaks. That's why it's breaking on lines. So this is something that you should know about how it works. So why is this convenient to read all text? Because if you know that you want to read all text, you can use it. Again, this opens, reads, and closes. It does the three operations we talked about: open, read, and close. So it does that for us so that we're not having any problem. Let me know if you have any issue, any questions down in the comments, and your thoughts.